All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Unto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. It's going to be a quick show to the spirit. I don't want any brothers to be edified. Something a few of us brothers were discussing. And as we are in this truth, those of us that's in this truth, those of us that's within the inside the temple, all right, inside the circle, all right. There's different levels to everything, even especially in this truth. Not everybody got the same office, not everybody got the same thought process, not everybody have the same skill set. But there's one thing you always find yourself. Sometimes people forget their place. Not in a bad way. Everybody got their own talent. Everybody got their own way of doing things. But sometimes we forget of, like, where did the Lord find us? And it always goes back to the beginning for everyone. Some of us was deep rooted in this world and the things of this world that really screwed us up in the mind, because we thought everything about this world was true, and then we come to find out it was a lie. So when you come into this thing, everybody's trying to fit in, and it takes time. There's something, you don't come into this truth and to say, oh, this is going to be my office forever. It's growth. You have to have a lot of experience, Back in the days when, the class that I'm from, which the majority of brothers, from YouTube, we always see some of us was holding posts, from holding posts to holding up signs. From holding up signs, you might be able to hold camera. If the camp was too crowded, you might be on camera watch, making sure nobody's taking no picture. And that was like an easy job, but your job was just to make sure that nobody was gonna take no picture and do whatever they want to do with the camp picture. But then the best part's when you're really active, you're a reader, right? You reading for a brother. You might be a second reader. If the camp is big enough, there may be two readers. So one brother could bring out precepts, another bring out, if the brother's breaking out a breakdown scripture, one brother's could be reading straight up, from verse 1 on down, and the brother's bringing out the precept. Then you got the other job. You become a speaker. So as a speaker, you have to know what you're saying, how to break down, interpret scripture. Got to break it down to the very morsel for easy could be understood for listeners. You got to know exactly what you're saying. And these are some of the occupations that was given. Then you had brothers that had work after the camp, which meaning you had to put the videos up, because before these phones, we all had cameras. And you have to have a laptop. That's another thing. You have to have a laptop. You have to connect yourself with you might have the cameras. That was your responsibility, to have put the videos up, name the shows. That's a lot. That was a lot. You add that plus your everyday life. That took a lot out of you. You have to come quick. You have to make sure everything was right. You'll be very observant, and that was a way of just keeping you busy. Then you have brothers that have the signs. Now brothers can make signs. So the Lord found, when we first came into this truth, the Lord gave us all a particular job. And all this is for a good reason, because it builds character. It builds a man that, you come Saturday or some brothers do Sunday, some brothers do on Friday. You come to camp, And coming to camp is one thing, you know, if you get to speak, if you get to get down for your crown, so to speak. But there's other things that during the week that will keep you busy. So you fast forward that. So that we no longer have majority of brothers, because all that keep brothers idle, you know, and you will see that. If you've been in this truth long enough, you will see brothers are chatting on posts when they're not supposed to be chatting on posts, because holding posts is a very important thing. Holding posts is a form of security. You got to make sure nobody comes in, you know, and all that good stuff. So you always got to be alert. You always got to be observant. If you got a good camp leader, a good camp sergeant at arms, they'll always keep the rotation correct. All right. And you fast forward to now, you know, majority of us use our phones to display camp videos. You use tripods now, so the burdens became lighter. But until that doesn't mean that the camp should be on idle mode, like, you know, easy mode. Like, brothers, there's always something to do. If you can't find something to do, make something to do, you know. And that's the moral of the story. And I was talking to Elder Benatazai. He brought out a good picture. He always says it a lot. You know, when he was in the school, nobody was cleaning up the school, so he took it beside himself to just go out there and just start cleaning up the school. So you always go do your part in the church, so to speak. You know, matter of fact, enough talking. Let me get some couple scriptures. Luke, let me start with this one. 19, I believe it's Luke 19 and 13. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds. And he said unto them, occupy till I come. So when you look up the word occupy, which is very important, it says, I don't know how to say it in the Greek, but to be occupied in anything. And that is a key. In anything. But is it anything? You could be occupied watching television. You could be occupied at work. It's keeping yourself occupied within the truth. It says to carry on a business. To carry on business of a banker or a trader. Because what did the Lord do? He gave us talent. He gave us something to do. And our job is to flip it. And the best way you can flip something is by utilizing it. All right, strong definition. Business oneself with, that is to trade, occupy. And look up the origin word. It says to which has been done a deed, an accomplished fact. What is done or being accomplished. Spec, business, a commercial transaction, a matter, question, affair. Spec, in forensic sense, a matter at law. Case, suit, that which is or exists, a thing. So we have to keep ourselves occupied in the Lord's business. All right. Always keep yourself occupied in the Lord's business. The scripture should be in our minds all the time. You could be driving. You see how people are driving. What scripture should come in your mind when you see people driving? It's sporadic. People got demons on them. You know, go to the supermarket. What scripture should come? I'm just throwing things up. Mingle seeds. You know, that shouldn't have mingled seeds. They should have seeds, foods, certain foods, fruits and vegetables. Well, fruits should have seeds. All right. The scriptures should come in your mind. You should be always on the job. All right. Always on the job. You always gotta remember that. Matter of fact, real quick before I get to the main script, Luke 10 and 2 says, therefore he said unto them, the harvest truly is great. What is that harvest? It's work. All right. this work is that harvest. And it is great. It's so great that there's so much stuff to do that all hands, yes, all hands should be on deck, but even though when all hands on deck, it's still a lot of work to do. That's how great this harvest is. It said, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. What is a laborer? A worker. So everybody should have that worker bee spirit when it comes to this truth. All right, everybody. No matter how long you've been in or when you just came in, you should ask, like, what else can I do? How else can I help? You know, don't take it upon yourself and say, you know what, I'm just gonna upload videos on TikTok and all this other stuff. Talk to the camp leader. Do something, like find something. You know, help brothers out somehow, some way. There's so much stuff to do in this truth, man. It's just, and you know, when you do things in that formal, fashionable way of keeping yourself busy, once you do that, then you find purpose. You find more purpose. You may not be able to speak, even though we cut down to a few men in camp, but you may not be able to speak. You may be able to, do more reading. But it's to do something. Brothers should be trying to do more. It says, matter of fact, get to the precept because one of my favorites, Matthew's 20. Is it 20? Yeah. Matthew's 20:1. It says, "For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard." All right, and this in particular scripture says a lot, because we got to remember where we came from. All right, in order to get somewhere, you have to remember where you came from. A lot of us came from obscurity. This an unknown name, and this thing of ours is not about getting a name. I must say that too. But a lot of us came from obscurity, come from nothing. And now that you have this opportunity, this great opportunity, you got to put your best foot forward, all right, and do something for this truth. Don't take it upon yourself. I'm repeating. Don't take it upon yourself and say, you know what, this brother's right. I'm just gonna do this and not let it be known to the proper chain of command. And then next thing you know it, you find yourself doing something and you doing something completely wrong. There's order to everything. All right. It says, verse 2, "And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny." What is that penny? That penny is what? Equal to salvation. So he went out there in the morning. That means early. Crack of dawn. All right. You go out there early. So you have some men that was called early into this thing of ours. Some men was called in the latter, which he's going to get into. All right. It says, "And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard, and went out about the third hour, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace." So they was doing nothing. All right, let's look up the word idle. Idle, free from labor, luxury, lazy, shunning the labor which one ought to perform. All right, verse. This is Strong's definition: inactive, that is unemployed, by application, lazy, useless. All right, so we all got to remember when we was useless at one time. You might do the things that you have to do for your job and for your house and all this other stuff, but overall you had no real purpose, because at the end of the day, this is the real work. This is the best job. This is the job of the century. Okay? Being a prophet of the Lord is more just being a prophet to go call the white man the devil. There's so much layers to this. All right? It's so vast. The Most High is vast as himself. You think he's just going to have everybody do one thing? Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. It's not quick, but 1 Corinthians 12, maybe 6. 1 Corinthians 12 and 4. Now, they are difference of gifts, but the same Spirit. There are difference of administration, but the same Lord. What is administration? Let's look that word up. Service. All right? Ministering. Especially of those who execute commands of others. So, it says, of those who by command of the Most High proclaim and promote religion among men. So there's different offices that's always filled and needs to be fulfilled. All right, everybody don't have the same office. Everybody has different offices, and it gets to the deacons and bishops and all that. All right, and it says, sorry, what was that? 6. It says, and there are diversities of operations, but it is the same power which worketh in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to everyone to profit with all. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, the other the word of knowledge, and by the same Spirit. The other faith by the same Spirit, the other the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, the other the working of miracles, the other prophesying, the other discerning of spirits, the other diverse kinds of tongues, to other the interpretation of tongues. So there's so much different things that the body can do. All right, proving that every office is not the same. Hey, everybody's not the fingers, everybody's not the foot, everybody's not the right arm. Everybody has a role to play, but key word, a role to play. Everybody has something to do. So you can't sit there and like, I'm just gonna come to camp on the perspective day and I'm just gonna may read a couple lines and that's that. And after camp, I'm just gonna do my everyday life like it's nothing. I'm just gonna put up a couple of shows and that's about it. And that's that. No, it doesn't work like that. This is a constant moving thing. And we always gotta think about it. I should be doing more. Alright. If it's not more shows, I could do something else. Something to make this more productive. Alright. Brothers need help. Hey, go help brothers out. Alright. Help a brother out. If you see a brother has great potential of doing shows, help him. You know, brother might just come in, and you might know a good amount. So you might ask him, hey, you know this breakdown? Teach one. You know, there's so much things to do. It says, verse 11, but all these working that one and the self same Spirit, dividing to every man several as will. For as the body is one and have many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Yahushai. So if you find something to do, just do it. Alright? Do it. And if that one thing is easy, see if you can do something else. Hey, as a laborer, I remember working some jobs where it was dwindling down and you don't want to get laid off, so what do? You find something to do. Alright? So when the foreman or the lead guy, they're about to chop people off, And you got those, the other laborers they know, oh, it's about to be cut off time. A lot of us brothers, you know what I'm talking about. But they're about to cut guys. The rumor always spread in the rumor mill. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, they're about to cut some guys. Some people just like already once they hear that they're about to cut some guys, they spirit is already defeated. So like, I ain't gonna do nothing. They gonna cut me anyway. And sometimes the foreman or the lead man, the guy that's being sent to watch everybody, sometimes he might like you, and your initiative. But when that rumor start to spread, what end up happening? People show their true selves, and that they was never really about that work. All right, and that company. I'm just using as an example. That company may have other jobs. All right, they might have other big jobs. They might need other laborers, and you give that performance. They're like, you know what? You wasn't real this whole time anyway. Okay, and I just give that as an example for especially brothers that know that work. When you're in the construction field, there's always something to do, unless everything's turned over and everything like that. But there's something to do. The same thing with this truth. There's always something to do. All right. Back in Matthew's 20. What was that? I'll start at 5. It says, and again he went out. I'm sorry. 4. And he said unto 3, and went out about the 3rd hour, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, the agora, all right, and said unto them, hey, just like how you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or anything that has to do with construction. It's funny because that legacy to this very day is mostly Issachar, all right, the day workers, where they're out there every day looking for a job, looking for something. And somebody might have a pickup. As soon as they see that person with the pickup, they're all fighting and showing like, yeah, I could do this, I could do that. Because they're all seeking a job. They're all seeking something, And normally, what is these potential jobs are is a agora, a marketplace. It says, it's verse 4, and said unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again he went about the 6th hour and the 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle. So we gotta always remember the Lord has calling us for a reason. All right, He's calling us for work. He's calling us to go out there and do this labor's work. And labor's work, not all the time they're going to guarantee you might be not doing anything that day. You might be right in the mix of things. They might throw you in a hole. Dig this, do that. There's always work to do. And then when you make that penny, at the end of the day, you feel good. You feel satisfied. I got the job done. I got the job done. I can feed my family. I can do this and that. And that's how we got to look at it. At the end of the day, we look for, the Lord gave us work. He gave us a long career. I gotta use these terminology, but He gave us a career. All right. And what's come with this career is the benefits. What's part of the benefits? Salvation, the greatest benefit that you could ever have. Not only salvation for yourself, but salvation for your family. Family in this side, if you don't have family. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Matthew's 19 and 27. 19:27. Matter of fact, 20. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all. Hey, just like you work for Esau, right? The Esau's job, before all hell broke loose and changed but majority of jobs either 9 to 5, 7 to 3s, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes you are required to do overtime. And overtime, you get that nice check. But what did you forsaken? You forsaken your personal life, your personal self-interest. All right, you work in your regular 9 to 5, so that way you could purchase and do the things that you need to do. You got to pay bills. You got to do the same thing with this truth. All right, you forsaken everything that you have. Your personal, all for your personal time. He says, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? So what are we going to get for forsaking or giving up everything? It's what the Lord said. And Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, so it's not just talking one lifetime, it's talking about all the time, yo. So only the elect could do this. Like the scripture says in 2nd Ezra, I believe it's the 7th chapter, 727, to the empty are empty things, to the full thing. So the Lord told Daniel's go into thy lot. All right. So whatever you was in the past, you always do the same thing again. So the servants of the Lord is always going to be the servants of the Lord. A prophet of the Lord is always going to be a prophet of the Lord. All right. And they're going to do it every lifetime. They're going to constantly do it. It says, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, you also shall sit upon the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of the nation, the 12 tribes of Israel. So this is what the Lord told the 12. All right. So that applies to us as well, because we're doing the work. All right. If we've been doing this, we're not new to this. We've been true to this whole time, and we've been doing this every lifetime. We're gonna get that reward when the Lord of that good house comes to give us the pennies. All right. It says that everyone that have forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. You see the reward? So the little, hey, like, matter of fact, let me go back to Luke 19. Because it says something very important. Luke 19, I believe it was Luke 19. And 14, but all right, but his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. And it came to pass that when he was returned, he received the kingdom. So this is all parable talk of Yahushua when he comes back. Then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he have given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. So he was to take the penny that was given, the gift. He was supposed to take that talent, flip that talent, constantly flip it, constantly change it, constantly making something out of it. All right. That's what the scripture says. What is it? Timothy's. Wow, I haven't read it in a while. About the gift. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. Type in gift. First Timothy 4:14. I should have known, but hey. Neglect not the gift that is in thee. So we all have a certain gift that the Lord gave to us. Some have greater faith. Hey, like I said in 1 Corinthians. All right, I read it. I don't have to repeat it again. No, don't neglect it. All right, don't neglect it. Let's look up the word neglect. To be careless of, to neglect. All right, don't be careless with this. Okay, seize the opportunity that's granted. If If offices need to be filled, fill it. If that's your calling, maybe you are good at that. All right, but still go by the proper chain, making sure that is a proper office. It says, neglect not the gift that is in thee, which is given thee by the prophecy, with the laying on of the hands of the Presbyterian, which is go back to what? The elders, the apostles. All right. It says the body of elders, Presbyterian, Senate, Council. All right. The order. Order of elders that is specifically Israelite, Sardinian or Christian, Presbyterian, a state of elders. So the men that's over you, like Apostle Tar always pushes us to do more shows, to do more things. He's over us. He's our spiritual coach. He's bringing the best out of us. The things that was hidden that we didn't know that we had it within us, he's pushing us. All right, he's pushing us constantly. So to that point where he don't have to tell us nothing. We just know our job by nature. All right. You know, at the end of the camp, in the main camp in New York, there were times when the elder brothers would just go out there and start speaking. And we did it, you know, not when the apostles were looking. And then one day they came, he said, I don't have to tell you guys what to do, you know. I don't have to tell you what to do all the time. And that was him telling, like, you're doing the right thing. All right. He says, meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that they profiting may appear to all. So we have to meditate on the things that are gifted to us. All right. Take heed unto thyself, unto the doctrine, continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Because what? We're not, like Paul said, lest I be a castaway. So you don't just say these things, you do it. You know, you apply the scriptures. Okay. So let me go back to this and end this off. Luke 19. 16 now. I just want to get to the point. Right. Luke 19, and I'm going to read 15 again. And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he given the money. All right, so we was loaned a money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. So he was expecting that, which it tells you. It says, then came the first, saying, Lord, thy pound have gained 10 pounds. And he said unto him, Well, that good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, So, yes, the things that we are doing in the sight of the Lord is little. But how much are we going to gain for that little extra time, extra things that we do in His truth? Scripture says, labor of love, you know. And when you start doing things, you start loving the things that you're doing, because it's like, I'm helping the cause. Because I was one of those brothers after one elder brother to pass it down to me, I had to put the videos up. And after a while, I started to love it. Then I started doing other things. So I started volunteering. I'll take the signs. I'll do this. You know, it became second nature. All right. And that's just a little thing. So taking care of that, being a good steward, because that's what it's all about. It's about being a steward. A steward is a householder. A steward is somebody, you work for somebody. So you're making sure the house is intact the way the house owner wants it to be. All right. So here you are, making sure, okay, this person like it like this. You dust it off. You know, you just constantly moving, keeping everything clean. And it's the reward that you get if you do that. It says, because that has been a faithful and a very little thing, I have thou authority over 10 cities. So you went from something minute to controlling. That's the reward that's coming to the elect of the nation of Israel, controlling great states, worlds. And that's a top man right there. So how much more? The other man said, the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 5 pounds. Then he said likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities. So he was just giving out rewards. that's the spirit how Yahushua is going to come. The scripture tells you what. I'm just going to paraphrase. I don't want to get it. In Revelation 11:18, that I shall give us reward to thy servants, the prophets. All right. So the reward is coming. But those that squander that reward, here it comes. It says, and the other came, saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin. So he hid that talent. He hid what was given to him. He didn't participate in anything. That goes back to the five virgins, the 5 wise, 5 foolish. All right, it goes back to a lot of things. It says, for I fear thee, because thou art an austere man, taking up that thou layest down, not down, and thou reapest that is not so. And he say unto him, out of thine own mouth will I judge thee, thy wicked servant, and knewest that I was an austere man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow. Wherefore then givest not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required my own with usury. And he said unto them that stood by, take from him the pound and give it to him that have 10 pounds. So he gave that 1 pound to the man that had plenty. So the Lord don't care. He want everybody to keep word to everything. And we all know that pound is talking about the spirit, levels of the spirit. You got to go out there in the houses and byways and all that. But the key to everything was what the Lord said, occupy till I come. Keep yourself occupied on this word, on him. Okay? On him. Find yourself doing something more in this truth. If there's a day where nobody's doing nothing, gather the troops, do videos, do something. Do something. And that's all. So with that being said, shalom to the elected nations, or shalom.